Welcome, everyone, to part one of Impact San Antonio's 2024 agency training session. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Yvonne Grotus. I'm the VP of Operations on the Impact San Antonio Board of Directors. We host agency training each spring, and our training is split into two parts, which I'll talk about more shortly. Now, you're probably experts at Zoom by now, but just a few notes on getting the most out of today's session. First, we do recommend that you set your Zoom screen layout to speaker view. Now, if you are using a call-in number to listen in today instead of logging in on your computer, you will not be able to see our slides, but I will tell you later where you can see those at a later date. Please help us avoid disruptions by remaining on mute with your video turned off throughout the session. We do ask that you use the chat function to communicate with us during the session. Now, if you encounter a technical issue, send a private chat message to technical support, and we can assist you that way. In our experience, many of the technical issues can be resolved by just leaving the Zoom session and then rejoining the Zoom. So now I'd like to introduce the other key members of our Impact San Antonio Board of Directors who will be presenting the training today. Co-chairing our Agencies and Applications Committee are Jenny McNaughton and Rose Urbancic. They'll be your primary contacts during the entire application process. Also joining us today is Shirley Bennett, our treasurer. As treasurer, Shirley helps ensure that we are gathering and analyzing the most appropriate financial information through our application process. And again, my role is VP of Operations, and I have the great privilege of working with all of these women. Today, we're going to be asking you a few questions to keep things interactive. Throughout the session, questions are just going to pop up on your screen a few times. We'll give you a few seconds to answer, and then we'll post the results on screen. All of your responses are anonymous. So we're going to try one. Our first question is, have you participated in any Impact San Antonio agency trainings in the past? And we'll let everybody have a moment to submit. And then I will get the results up on screen as soon as everybody has had a chance to do it. So we're about split. 52% of you have done this before and 48% of you are new. So we're happy to have all of you here today, whether it's your first time or your 15th time, we're happy to have you. Now let's take a quick look at our agenda for today. Agency training is split into two parts to align with our two-step application process. Our goal is to provide the information you need close to when you need it. Today, we'll briefly cover the overall impact San Antonio grant process. Then we'll focus in on step one, which is the organizational questionnaire, and our review of the organizational and financial readiness of applicants. Part two of our training will be held on May 15th. Then we'll provide guidance on the project application, which is part of our step two, as well as our grant review process and all the way through to grant award night. Now, these slides, as well as an audio recording of today's presentation, will be posted on the Impact San Antonio website no later than April 8th. For those of you who may not be as familiar with Impact San Antonio, let me introduce you. What makes Impact San Antonio unique? Well, we are a group of like-hearted women who come together for the shared purpose of helping our community. Now, each membership contributes $1,000 a year, with 100% of that $1,000 going to fund significant grants. We don't use any of that $1,000 to cover operating expenses. A woman can join as an individual member for $1,000, or two women can join together to form a shared membership. Individual member contributions are then all pooled to create the sizable grants of $100,000 each. Our process to choose the grant recipients involves volunteer impact members engaging in a rigorous process to determine which project proposals they believe will deliver the most impactful results. Now, each agency finalist creates a video presentation about their project, and in October, the full Impact San Antonio membership reviews these presentations before casting their votes to determine which projects will be selected for our high impact grants. Our goal every year is to be able to award high impact grants in each of our 5 focus areas. So let's go over those 5 focus areas. So arts and culture focuses on improving the culture and artistic climate of the community. Education covers increasing access and improving educational opportunities. Environment, recreation, and preservation includes both conserving and revitalizing the natural environment, as well as improving recreational facilities and preserving historic sites. Family focuses on strengthening the lives of children and families. And lastly, the health and wellness focus area includes grants that positively impact the mental or physical health of area residents. So now we're going to do another quick question. Have you applied for an Impact San Antonio grant before? Everybody can submit their answer to this poll. And we'll get a total in just a second as everybody has time to do this. We're split on about the same. 56% of you have applied before and 44% are newbies. Again, we're happy to have everyone. Okay. So our 2024 high impact grants. There will be no changes to our grants this year. So if you've done this before, this will all look familiar. High impact grants will again be $100,000 each. There are 3 funding categories: new programs, expansion of existing programs, and capital investments or construction projects. Now, in the grant application, 10% or $10,000 of every project budget will be allocated automatically for indirect costs or overhead. And finally, we will begin distributing the 2024 grant funds in November, and recipients will have 2 years to implement their projects. Now, this picture puts the 2-step application process in context of the overall grant timeline. We're starting here on the left, far left bottom there. You'll see in that purple left, far left little graphic, you have until Friday, April 26th at 5 p.m. to submit your agency's organizational questionnaire, which is part of step 1. You'll be notified of the results of our readiness review by May 8th, and we'll talk about readiness review a little bit more later in this session. Part 2 of training will take place on May 15th, and then eligible applicants will have until Friday, May 31st at 5 p.m. to submit a project application in step 2. Our grant review teams then work over the summer, reviewing and evaluating all of the project proposals. We will announce grant finalists in September, and then we culminate the year with our awesome grant award night in October, which this year is October 28th. So now I'm going to hand the program over to Rose to share more about our 2024 grant application process.